Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer Huber, also known as Solo Travel Girl, and since June of 2022, I've been using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Now, before I get into this week's update, I just want to remind you that I'm not a healthcare professional and I'm just sharing my personal experience and opinion about using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Also, I have no relationship with the drug manufacturer, Eli Lilly, and I have no relationship with any pharmacy that is selling Mounjaro or Mounjaro-like products. All right, let's get into this week's episode, but before I do, I just want to let you know that Mounjaro really has been a game changer in my life. Everything has been positive for the most part since I've started this journey. I have lost over 60 pounds. I have lowered my A1C from 8.2 to 5.4. I had high blood pressure and I was on high blood pressure medication before I started this journey. I no longer have high blood pressure and I no longer take high blood pressure medication. I had high cholesterol before this journey, high bad cholesterol, but my good cholesterol numbers were also on the high side. I mean, not on the bad high side, but anyway, it has lowered, but I'm still on a statin and hopefully I will be off a statin eventually. And I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease as well before I started this journey, and that has since been reversed. So yeah, Mounjaro really has been amazing in my life. You probably heard some footsteps. That was my cat and my dog, one of my cats. I have two cats, and they just wanted to come in as soon as I started filming, so they might make an appearance, they might not. So let's get into this week's update. I injected myself with week 76 of Mounjaro on Friday, and that was week 16 at the 7.5 milligram dose. No weight change for this week. I didn't gain any weight. I didn't lose any weight, so I'm still at 132 pounds. And I titled this video, or you saw that, the ups and downs of this week, because my glucose numbers, I'm going to show you my glucose numbers over here. They range from 40 to low 90s, and they're non-fasting numbers in the morning. And I had numbers in the 50s as well, and those days that I had 40 and 50s, I felt horrible. I felt so drained and tired. I drank juice. I have like the equivalent of Pedialyte. I was eating honey, just straight honey, and I still couldn't get my glucose numbers to come up until a couple days ago. Now, mind you, I was also eating horribly the day before. I was eating a lot of, or let me clarify that, eating horribly like the day before, and then the next day I take my glucose numbers. I would eat fast food, and I would want the fast food to taste good. I just have this vision that it's going to taste good again. It didn't taste good. Even Chick-fil-A didn't taste good to me. And I love Chick-fil-A, especially the Chick-fil-A sauce with chicken, with the tenders. Yeah, and I was trying to eat as much processed sugar along with natural sugar, hoping that my glucose numbers would be in the normal range in the next morning, but they weren't. So the day that I had glucose that was 40, I ate something and I tested it again, and then I think it was like in the 50s. And then I had some pizza, and that bumped it up to the 90s right afterwards. So now the last couple days, my glucose has been considered normal in the morning, so let's hope that that stays that way. The only thing that I can think of is that it's stress-induced. I've gone 13 days straight without a day off, which doesn't sound like really a long time, but my body just needed it. I have just a lot going on at work and things to do, and early mornings and late nights, and just trying to get things done, and some of it involves physical activity. And yesterday there was a parade, and I ran about 1 mile of the 1.5 miles of the parade just to keep up with our vehicle. And I thought, this is great. I didn't get tired. I wasn't winded. And I thought, this is great. I'm going to go back and running 5Ks. I came home and I just crashed on the sofa and I took a nice long nap. I woke up. My hip was sore and I was limping around. I took my cane out to walk my dog. I feel a little better today, but I'm like, well, okay, I'm 53 years old. I'm not as young as I used to be, but perhaps with better training and stretching and proper footwear and all that other stuff, perhaps I won't be aching so much if I do pursue running. I would like to do a 5K. They're always fun. So anyway, yeah, my glucose number is getting back to that, just lows and I guess not high highs, but they've been okay. They've been fluctuating this week. Nutrition, as I mentioned, kind of horribly, but I've been trying to be good and eat better. Believe it or not, strawberry season in Florida already. Plant City strawberries are already available. I picked them up. Here's a beautiful picture of some of those strawberries that I picked up. So incorporating fresh fruits and vegetables into my nutrition plan. And, you know, even though it's the holidays, yes, I am giving myself some grace and eating the things that I love, even though they still don't taste the same. All right, well, exercise, basically, it's just been a lot of walking. My body did really call for some Payo or yoga or Pilates, but I just didn't, mentally, I didn't have that. I chose sleep this week. Now, I still have another busy week ahead of me, and then the week after that, things kind of die down. But I'm going to try and prepare for the holidays. I'm trying to get my house cleaned and all that, so I'm going to be utilizing my time after work. Hopefully I'm just working normal hours this week to get my house cleaned up. But yeah, it's been a long stretch these last couple of weeks, and I haven't made time for exercise, unfortunately. And I know you need to make time to do that, but I chose sleep. I just think that's more important for me than doing the exercise. But I've still gotten up in the morning to walk my dog and then walk him in the evening. And so that's this week's update. We talked about no weight, my wackadoodle glucose numbers, nutrition, and exercise. You know, in addition to the ups and downs with my glucose this week, I mentioned last week's video that my dog was having some issues, and basically my dog has a little tumor on his head, and the vet's not sure if it's cancerous because she didn't do a biopsy, and that was my choice, because whether it's cancerous or not, I want that lump removed, because I went on Google, which I know you really shouldn't do, but everything that I found indicates that basically it's like 99% chance that it is cancerous, just the way that it has grown relatively fast and that it bleeds. But that if it's not cancerous now, that it has the potential to become cancerous. Now my dog, I don't know how old he is. I've had him for over 6.5 years. I get a little emotional now. But he's basically been my best friend. Went through a pandemic together, and when I had a hysterectomy, he was there with me. My parents were with me for about a week or so, but after they left, he was with me, and he helped me get back to normal, so to say, because he had to go out, and there were only so many things that I could do with him, you know, in order to keep healthy while I was in the healing process. But he was there by my side, and other times that I was sick. So I don't know how old he is. I'm guessing he is well over 10 years old, just the way that he acts and everything, and by that, just how maybe a little bit slowing down these past days. So I've been thinking a lot about, well, what if it is cancer, and what if they don't get the whole cancer area out? And so I've been thinking about that like a lot lately. Okay, I did take a little pause there, turn my air conditioner off. It's still hot here in Florida, by the way. Anyway, so one of the last things that I want to talk about is that I had this weird situation happen last week, and I guess more of it will happen, and I just didn't know how to handle it. And I kind of felt like, remember that scene in Pretty Woman where Julia Roberts' character, they're off at an event, I think the polo match, and then the guy who plays George Costanza, he was there, and, you know, basically he went up to her and, you know, talking about her past, or that he knows what she does and that. So I was at this event talking to this man that I met for the first time, and this other man came up to me and he said, "Wow, you've lost a lot of weight. How much weight have you lost?" And it just took me back, because I was having a conversation with this man, and it turns out that the man I was talking to he's a cobbler and he has cobbled my shoes before. And I didn't realize that that was him when I was talking to him, and we're talking about the Everglades or something, and then this other guy comes up and just kind of random. Now this man who came up to me and told me, or asked me how much weight have I lost, I have actually seen him and his wife at events throughout the year, and I acknowledge them, and they just kind of look at me and just say, look at me politely and nod their heads or whatever. We're also connected on Facebook as well. So it's one of those things where they didn't realize that they know me because I guess I have changed so much in appearance to them. And so basically, later I found out that, he said that he was looking at me trying to figure out how he knew me, and then it clicked, and that's why he came over and said that. So, he's like, well, how did you do it? And I just felt really uncomfortable and weird explaining myself next to this person that I had just met and was talking to, and I didn't get into the medication. I just said that, I'm type 2 diabetic, and I made changes in my life with the nutrition and exercise, and here I am. And I kept it to that. So I don't know if you've had that weird situation, and I probably didn't handle it a proper way, but fortunately, I'm a people pleaser, so that's the way that I responded to it. So I'm not sure how you would handle that situation, but to me, I just thought that was very inappropriate for him to come say that, and I didn't feel comfortable, though, saying that in front of this other guy. What you said to me was inappropriate. So anyway, that was my interesting week. My dog is snoring now. I don't know if you can hear him, but okay. But one other thing I want to share with you is that I mentioned last week that I had a Roundhouse Provisions reached out to me, and they have this whole nutritional line, and I didn't take any this past week. I did take some a few weeks before, and so this is a drink, and I'm going to start taking it this week. I probably should have been taking it last week. It's called Morning Kick, and it is, let me get this here. Morning Kick, and this is strawberry lemonade flavor, and this is so good. It's green. I love this. It has power greens in it. It has probiotics, and then it has ashwagandha, which is good for stress. And so I'm going to be incorporating more into this. I was using this before, and it did make me feel good. It did make me feel awake and alive, so to say. And I like this better than coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but if it has enough sweetener in it, no sugar sweetener, I will drink coffee. So this is replacing my morning routine. And then these other items, I haven't tried them yet just because I've had so much going on and I just wasn't sure how they'd make me feel. But this is called the 3-hit combo. It's health and energy activated. So this is the help. Let me see if you can see this here. But I'll do a separate video on this. But these are just some supplements that I'm going to start incorporating. And yes, I was sent these products for free in order to give my own personal opinion about them. So I'm not giving you an opinion about these two items. And this is a probiotic. I love my probiotics. And this is called Gut Strike. And this has 30 billion CFUs. So this is, that's a lot of probiotic. I don't know if you can see that. I might have to edit this and put these pictures in. I don't know. Got the ring light going. It's kind of bright. Sorry, it's not better. But anyway, these are from Roundhouse Provisions. And again, I am loving this Morning Kick. I've had it just with water, but then I've also put it with, mixed it with almond milk and just basically put it in my shaker and shake it up. So it's a nice little vibrant kick in the morning. Also, what else happened this week? I met one of my favorite authors, Carl Hiaasen. Here's a picture here. My gosh, Carl Hiaasen, he is so awesome. He is so funny. He's a Florida-based writer. He writes about Florida and the funny things of Florida twisted around. And I always thought that, I guess it's been a long time. So my former husband, he passed away in 2008. And I've always wanted to write a novel about my experience in the Everglades because there were all sorts of weird twists and turns. And even with my ex-husband's passing, there was weird stuff associated with that. If you go on my blog, you can find a story. I think I put most of that on there. But yeah, that was a wackadoodle time in my life. But all sorts of weird things happened down in the Everglades, down in Flamingo, and I always thought I could write a Carl Hiaasen-esque book. I haven't gotten around to that. Perhaps someday I will. But I did pick up his latest book. Let me get that. All right, Wrecker is Carl Hiaasen's latest book. It's actually a young adult or teen geared novel like Hoot. He wrote Hoot, and that was made into a movie. That was a great book, great movie as well. So I'm really looking forward to this. I haven't cracked it open yet, but anything that Carl Hiaasen does is going to be fabulous and funny and wackadoo and just shed some interesting light on the state of Florida. So that's what I have going on in my life. I hope everything's going well with you. You know, just remember that don't compare your journey to my journey or someone else's journey, because our journeys are all going to look different. Yes, we all have the same goal of living healthier lives, and we'll all get there one way or another. And if you are just starting out on Mounjaro or perhaps zepbound, you know, the piece of advice that I like to give is keep hydrated, change up what you're eating, you got to move more, and stay in touch with your healthcare provider. Just be patient as well. I'm adding that fifth one, be patient. All right, my friends, I hope you're getting ready for the holidays. I'm getting in the mood. You know, I was thinking of comparing to last year. Why wasn't I in the mood? Well, I was dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian, so I'm feeling much better. And actually, when I'm going around my neighborhoods, I can see more of my neighbors have their lights out and decorations out. I did start putting some decorations out in my yard. So we'll see if I can get that finished. It started raining, and that's why my hair looks like this. It started raining. It got caught in the rain. I didn't finish putting up my decorations, but they will get there. All right, now I'm ready to say goodbye. All right, I hope you have an awesome week, and remember, not only be kind to others, but please be kind to yourself. Bye.